not going to be an educational spot, ladies and gentlemen, because it's about what this year has been about and what next year will be hopefully about for each and every one of you. For me, it's been an incredible learning curve. What do they say now everywhere? It's been a journey. And I think if anybody else says that, I'll scream. But really, when I have to quickly look at my notes, when I think what we've achieved actually over this year, I'm very, very proud of what HOD has become over the year. I think we've grown on David and what was previously how this club was. And things have come into being, like changing rooms. And whether you like this hall or not, for me it's been a part of when we speak, being able to have a venue which we can actually use and try out different styles. And for me that's what this hall is about, as well as being able to host, which we have done, competitions which we'd never have done before. And so we want to do is to raise our name and our club, and we have got a reputation now, whether we like it or not. But we've certainly, in the good side, we've got a reputation for friendliness, warmth, and because we do now a lot more networking, and we're encouraging everyone here, all our members, to please go and visit other clubs, and we've been doing that. And doing that really gives us the networking opportunities to look at good speakers who are within Toastmasters and say, hey, come and be general evaluators, or come and talk, give an education spot here. And it's raised our name, and it's raised our image, and also raised our standard, because we suddenly realise what there is. And I certainly know by going to competitions, there's a whole different ball game from area onwards, and you suddenly think, it either makes you want to crawl under a stone or think, I can do it, but it's going to take hard work. Also mentoring has become very important. We're really going to work on that, and I know Tony feels the same, so that everybody feels that they can grow in whatever direction they want to, supported by the new education program. Thank you very much for that. What I would like, if you wouldn't mind, as I suggested in an email, if you would just like to talk for a few minutes between you and just say how for you see Toastmasters growing, HOD growing in the next year. Love to hear from you after 5 minutes. And in the meantime, I would love to speak to, if you'd like to carry on, I would love to talk to the guests. And I'd love the guests to actually, if you would like to speak between you and say what you think, well, everybody else is standing up, say what you think so far of HOD would be lovely. If you can keep it clean, would be very nice. So if you want to talk between yourselves, please do with the guests. You are your guests too. Would you care to come round and just have a chat between everybody and the guests? Are you all right? Would you like now 5 minutes to just go to group and just decide where you want to?
Turn our chairs around, can we? Enjoy.
Is that right? Even more than that, I think, maybe a year and a half. I knew there was a good reason for me to keep you on the membership list. I'll tell you about 3 years back.
So yeah, Tony doesn't have to worry quite so much, I think, because it's the area governor, not the division governor, who files the club reports.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
But
yeah, absolutely.
We've never like worrying about what somebody else thinks. It's really about how.
That was what the impression when I first came here about having people.
Yes, that's right.
That's
Yes, David.
Yes, it must be.
So actually this is
Relax.
Relax.
I don't think that should, to be honest, I don't think the club, when we joined, I don't think the club actually knew there were other clubs.
Yeah.
It was very insular.
Oh yes, I have the same problem. With one of my clubs in my area, in Area 34. I was talking to a couple of members about the area contest that was coming up, and people question like, oh, there's an area contest. But yeah, the main things I've seen I like that leaflet over there I've seen. I like the customised feedback things I've seen. I think they're actually slightly more useful than the generic Toastmasters ones. I like the fact that the CC one's up there. In fact, one thing I'd be quite interested to see clubs do more of is having things like up there, like say the club goals thing.
I've got, actually, for next term, I've got a poster with all the district, with all the goals on it, which is going to go up in July.
So what's your question?
But yeah, I think things like that are very good because they help get member buy-in to the goals, because the members know that those are the goals, and that's the standard their area governors chasing them after.
The next year.
Well, I've been from speaking to Tony, we're going to have everything. So there's a lot more about getting our name out there, social, getting more guests, growing the club, getting more educational materials out there.
That's also for our self-development.
Exactly, yeah.
Because when we, like, for example, George speaks about speaking video, so you can watch your speech back. And the thing about watching a speech back, when you get evaluation from people, sometimes someone might say something like, oh, you were scratching your ear, and you think, I wasn't doing that. And then when you watch the video, wow, I was. I didn't even realise I was doing it.
Thank you.
You can put them all on YouTube channel. Yeah.
Mrs. Palace. Oh, I can bring it. I can bring my gown.
Sit down.
That's one of the best, that's one of the best points.
Would our honoured guest want to start, please? Yes, Olga.
Well,
Would you care to stand up? Because we'd love to give you an ovation.
That's just for standing up.
Yeah, well, I'm Jakov. Ellie, who is a friend and neighbor, has enticed me to come here. I've basically watched his speaking skills grow over time, and I was curious to find out what the source of it all is, and I think I'll begin to understand where it all comes from. So, well, definitely something interesting. It has nothing to do with my day job. I'm a software developer. I'm talking to computers. So talking to hearing human beings speak is actually an interesting variant. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. What a beautiful voice. Really,
I tend to sing, yeah.
really beautifully modulated. You can actually listen to it for hours. You probably have to, yes.
Well, I think most of the people know my name by now, I would like to add it's really positive being here and speaking to other guests as well. With my day job, I have to do a lot of networking, but most of the time it's very focused in that sense. Go and get business because I'm self-employed, but here I can detach myself, just be here, have fun, and meet a few more positive people, and enjoy the evening.
There's somebody who only said a few words before. Absolutely brilliant.
I wish to make an announcement on Harry's behalf. At the beginning of the evening, he mentioned to me that he has decided to join the club.
And now we know how he can speak. We can really do the encouraging. Please, Kavita.
Hello everyone, my name is Kavita, and this is my first meeting here today, and I really love the positive environment, and obviously they love the sparkling of the adhesion. This is quite good. By profession, I'm a lecturer, and during the whole day, I was doing this assessment and evaluation. And when I came to know, okay, this is again assessment and evaluation, I was feeling, oh, again the same thing. But this is very, very different from like what I do in the morning, because in the morning we have certain, it's very professional learning objectives and meeting the criteria. But here, like, we are doing whatever we are doing from the layman perspective and just without any boundaries or something. So this is quite very good and I really enjoy it.
Yes. How lovely for your students to hear the benefit of your lovely warmth. Really lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alice, you're the general evaluator, aren't you?
Yes.
So we can come back to that. Thank you so much. May I have comments from the floor about anything that they have been talking about relevant to HOD? Yes.
We were just talking about the movie camera and how useful that is for feedback. One of the comments Tony was saying was people might write down on the sheet, you've been scratching your nose or you've been walking around, or and you think what's that all about? And the camera or the film afterwards gives you that that idea, that it gives you the feedback that you
Yes,
need.
it becomes reality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Having not been here for probably about 18 months or more, that for me is like a really big thing, and I think if keep that going over the next year.
So you'll honour us with a visit before next year?
Maybe, but only if you video me.
Oh, definitely. And it certainly
we'll
does.
video every time you move.
Yeah, it certainly does if you have the courage to look at yourself afterwards. But I know it's really going to be helpful.
Yeah.
And also the thing that you can tie in, and if you've done your speech number one, you can look at everybody else's number one speech throughout, wherever.
Yeah.
And I think that's brilliant. You can actually compare the level that you're at with everybody else. So thank you so much for that. Yes. Mike.
Ellie and I had a very interesting conversation. I'm going to let Ellie describe the initiative that he has suggested.
You put your hand up for him.
I did. I did.
Ellie, I'm so pleased you volunteered to say
Stand up.
Yes.
I suggested to Mike that I'd like to introduce Toastmasters into my boys' school.
Brilliant.
As an idea of where we can take all the kids, they're from about 14, 15 years old, an hour a week or an hour every 2 weeks, where we can actually encourage them to come and to learn how to speak and to be guided. And we've just opened the conversation, but obviously as time goes we'll probably be looking for volunteers. Mike has agreed to come with me on it, and I think the school will be more than delighted for us to take this to the next stage.
Thank you. I have to say, years ago, about 15 years ago, we started a scheme in Chelsea and Westminster, and it's still going. 20,000 young people have been trained in Toastmaster skills over a 12-week period, and it's been 14 to 16-year-olds, and we try and do it now with some who are older and some who are younger. And it's actually been fantastic.
It's just cold if you want to use a little
But it really, really, and to see the standard that young people get to is amazing. Yes,
Can I just come in there, Ellie, and say that there is actually a Toastmasters Youth Leadership Programme,
Yeah.
which Mike could instigate for you, and it'd be an opportunity for this club to head it up and actually set it up, and it's a sort of series of, like a mini year for us. There's a number of meetings that you hold, and the young people, you do a demonstration meeting for them, the young people actually do all the roles and take it themselves. And there's a lot of leaflets, booklets, etc. for it. I think somebody has to sponsor the booklets.
Isn't this an ALS project? By
It
chance?
is, yes, it is.
Yes,
Well, you know Andrew Bennett from Early Bird and from Excalibur Speakers.
Is he
the singer?
Yes, yeah. Andrew Bennett runs the Youth Leadership Programme for the UK and Ireland for District 71, and he'll be doing it for District 91. And last Tuesday I went to a meeting about the Youth Leadership Programme. We saw it in action at a youth centre in Bermondsey, where they've been doing this over the last couple of months. And we saw these kids do a showcase after what they've learned over the previous few weeks, and it was incredible because they showed a video of how these kids were at the beginning, and then they actually presented a Toastmasters meeting essentially, and the way they had developed was just astounding. So we were discussing about putting this into practice, and maybe Andrew's going to come here and do an education slot about the youth leadership program.
And can I also recommend that we've also taken it, and I've run it with those who've got Asperger's syndrome. So it's not just limited to schools with 14 to 60-year-olds, but I cannot tell you with a group of Asperger's syndrome 14 to 16-year-olds, the only problem with that is that they so progress their skills and their confidence, and after that there is nothing to help them. So it's seeing how they can be helped after the time that they've done that.
There is the Double Club, especially for groups like that.
Thank you very much.
And I personally say, as someone with Asperger's syndrome myself, Toastmasters has been great.
Fantastic, thank you so much. One more comment?
Well, in our group here, we...
Yes, please.
Yeah. In our group here, I mentioned something that we mentioned in one of our management meetings about the possibility of putting together audio-visual equipment, and the vote was against, because we thought that we really need to develop our skills without the use of audio-visual equipment always around.
Never done that. No. I think we felt we have to use it as a tool rather than as a whole process. But I hope we all agree.
Yeah. And the other one was, could we have training for being a Toastmaster?
Yes, good one. Thank you very much.
Yes,
We all
please.
make that down. Yes. Thank you so much for those comments.
You haven't done it yet, have you?
I wanted to just tell you about how I thought about, I felt that actually I've run the year with such sort of diplomacy, really have. In fact, I wanted to quote Lord Salisbury actually, which says, he said, diplomatic victories are made up of a series of microscopic advantages, of a judicious suggestion here, of an opportune civility there, of a wise concession at one moment, far-sighted persistence at another, of sleepless tact, immovable calmness, a patience that no folly, no provocation, no blunder can shake. That's not me. So I had to give that up. Because we are... can you practice a groan, please, Bella? Right. We wanted to make this a healthy club. So I just wanted to end by saying, and this I'll apply to everybody, but I'd like to say on the terms of health and body, Mike, you have been the brains of the outfit, always have been, always will be. So thank you so much for your work. Who unfortunately can't be here, I see as the backbone of HOD. Without them, also, this club wouldn't be in being. David, I see you as the pulse, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but vital to the organisation. Alan, I see you as the eyes and ears, always prepared to see and to hear and to tell us. Angela is the taste buds. She spices every meeting up. Peter is the voice and the muscles. Bijan, the imagination. Bill, the mouth, never knowing what's going to come out. And Tony, and before you get the wrong idea, your index finger, which is going to show us the way to go. As an appendix. As long as I don't offend you. But to all of you, you of course are the heart. Thank you.
I believe in America we call that the valedictorian speech. We now move on to the evaluation part of our evening. As I mentioned earlier, and out of the pocket, Gill, everything we do in Toastmasters, we receive feedback on. We receive evaluations. Our first evaluator is Gill Devlin, who's going to give us her thoughts on Eli's speech. Gill?